Hey guys, I'm Matt. Welcome to Ironically Digital. Today we're going to do a different video. We're going to be developing some color. And specifically we're going to be comparing some regular old run-of-the-mill color film, just some Fuji Color 200, and compare that to some Kodak Vision3 100T. Now if you're not familiar with the Vision3 line, it is a 35mm movie film. It's 35mm, the perforations are exactly the same, so it runs in a 35mm camera just fine. The difference is, this is supposed to be run ECN2 process, and this is supposed to be run C41. We're going to run them both C41, I'm going to run them same tank, same time. And we're going to see what the difference is between the two films, see them side by side, see if the actual color developing components change between the two different films. Also, will show how to get rid of remjet on the Vision3. That's the other thing. Kodak Vision3, all movie films pretty much, they have what's called remjet. It's a carbon black coating on the back of the film. It's designed to reduce the risk of static spark, since let's face it, it's moving, however fast it is through a movie camera. That's not my area. As well as it also having anti-halation properties. And anti-halation basically is the process of light going all the way through the emulsion, bouncing off the back of the film, and then hitting the emulsion on the other side. And you'll see this on some films. Let's say, for example, there's like a wall, and the sun is peeking out from the wall, and you take a picture of it. You'll have almost like a reverse shadow of the sun on that wall, because the light made it through the emulsion, bounced off the back, and expose the film to light where there wasn't actually any light. And that stops that, it makes a better quality picture. I've also heard that the Vision series has a higher dynamic range. I'm frankly not a good enough photographer to tell. I just know it shoots really well. I enjoy it. I've had a little hit or miss with the daylight balanced films. My films have come out much better running a 85B filter with the tungsten films if you're going to give it a shot. But, people are afraid of this remjet and doing color chemistry at home, and it's really not that hard. So, the video tonight is going to be us doing it. I'm just going to take you with me because I've already started a little bit. So, you get to come with me. Okay, these have been sitting warming up for a while. I've loaded the film. The 100T is on the bottom, the Fuji film's on the top. Let's test our chemical temperature here. Mix things up a little bit. Thermometer. Get this powered up. We are at 102.1 degrees, so perfect. So, since I'm a little bit over anyways, I'm just going to take these out and have a water bath ready. Here's our Blix here. It's the same volume, same jug, so I'm sure we're within temperature. Step one is we're going to do a 1 minute soak on the film, which I'm going to set a timer. Sorry, bump the timer, bump the camera. I preheated the water up. My water happens to be like 101 degrees, so it's close enough. Fill this up. Alright, so we have that. Start our timer. I'll leave you guys on for this one. I'm going to scoot you up a little bit too. That way you can kind of see everything. Alright. So basically what we're doing is we're pre-soaking the film. This softens the emulsion so the chemicals can go after it a little better. Cuts down on development time. Makes it a little easier. Basically, while that's running, I'm going to tell you about the steps here. We have 1 minute, 102 degrees pre-soak. Then we're going to run the developer for 3.5 minutes. In which what we're going to do is we're going to pour it in, start the timer. First 10 seconds, we're going to agitate it. And how I'm going to do that is with the same little internal spinner that comes with the Patterson tanks. Then we're going to do 6.5 minutes Blix. It's the same idea. Then we're going to wash for 3 minutes at warm temperature. At that point, we're going to open it up, get rid of the rim jet, and then we're going to stabilize. So here we go. And don't be freaked out if the water that comes out of here is a weird color. Depending on the film, sometimes it's light purple like that, other times it's a real dark green. So, I'm going to put this here, it's floating on its own. So get the timer ready, we got 3 minutes 30 seconds. We have unicolor developer. Pour in. Start the timer, agitate for 10 seconds. Okay, give that a little bit of a rinse. Get this lid on. And another thing that's a little different than black and white, we already talked that this is color sensitive, so we're actually going to leave it in the hot water bath that I use to warm up the chemicals. So we got the lid on. We just hit our 30-second mark, so we're going to do our inversions. Do that. Give it a burp here. We're at 245. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and back in the tank, or in the bath. Get this set up with my funnel, ready to pour back in. And you know, this is the same thing as the black and white if you watch that video. We'll come back to it once we're pouring out here. Okay, we're back. We're at 40 seconds here for last inversions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Got our 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna get this lid off. Give it a little rinse in here. Get my fingers. I'm setting the timer here for 6 minutes 30 seconds. This out. Sorry, I'm fighting a little bit of a cold here, so I'm gonna have to deal with my coughing a little bit. Get that. Lid is. Come on, lid. Lid is on. Let that sit there. We now have our Blix. In, get my hands and rinse here, start the timer, and like the same thing, first 10 seconds. Okay, and just a heads up, the Blix does actually make a lot of gas, so you're probably going to have to burp this several times. I've seen people with some other videos and it's just the lid's bulging and it's leaking out Blix everywhere. Blix is an abbreviation of bleach and fixer, by the way, so you don't want to get this on your clothes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and see, look, the lid's already bulging up again. There's a burp there. Get that there, ready to pour the Blix in. So we have next inversion here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got our 1, 2, 3, 4. And just like what we did with the developer, I'll come back to you when we're doing the last inversion. Okay, we're back. We're at about 1:45 seconds. I'm going to drain my hot water bath here and start running hot water in preparation for the rinsing here. So I'll talk a little bit about what's going on with the RemJet a little bit here in a second. I'll do that while it's actually rinsing. So alright, we're at 50 seconds, almost done here. Water's starting to warm up again. I'm going to fill this sink back up again, but since I got some photochemicals in it, I don't like to leave it in there any longer, so I try to switch it out in the middle, but it's totally up to you. Alright, so we got 24 seconds. Get this off, give it a rinse. Ten seconds. Get this poured out. Alright, this gets rinsed in the 95 to 105 water for 3 minutes. Start the timer. What I am going to do is after this gets its first rinse, I'm going to dump it out. Do this twice here, and then I'm going to start filling up the sink again. Basically, I'm filling up for area to wash the RemJet off in the sink. So now it's got its first rinse, it's coming out. Put the plug back in here, start filling up. And the cool thing is this is already light stable, so I can actually take this lid off. Basically we're filling up, and you'll see what the RemJet looks like here when I take it out, so I'll hold both reels up next to each other and you'll be able to see. Alright, we're halfway done. So also, you know guys, this is, let's see, third video, not including the introduction. You know, when you see this, you know, give me a comment, see stuff you guys want to do. Because, I mean, the whole point of this channel is I want to do stuff that's not really done by anybody else. Like, you know, the black and white, obviously that's been done a lot. But, you know, it's one of the reasons why I'm doing the Vision3, for example. You know, there's not too many people that want to do it. And I have a few other ideas in mind, like bulk loading 120 film, differences between other obscure styles, you know, things that are kind of an interesting concept, but no one really knows how to do, or there's no, at very least, no YouTube video on it. So I have some ideas, but I'd like to hear what y'all have to say, because I'll figure it out. That's kind of how I roll anyways. So we're getting down there. We got 30 seconds left. Sink's filling up better than I thought it would, so I had to slow down the water. Getting a full sink. Alright, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, at this point, you can kind of view your results, so you just have to be careful with it. It still will degrade in the light, but I kind of wanted to show you a little bit of what I meant here. Here is the remjet. See how this film, it doesn't even actually look like it's developed, but you know, I can rub it a little bit here and get it off. You can kind of see it in the black. Sorry, I was rubbing the wrong one. That was the leader. But you can kind of see that there is pictures there, and there's just some crap on it. So we have to wash that off. Now this is the regular 35 mil. I'm just going to steal a little bit of hot water here and throw this in. And that's just so this doesn't dry out before I stabilize it. So get this back on here. Put that in. Now for the rim jet here, take this core out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off the reel. Get it in that hot water. Give this a shake. Try to get some of the black carbon off here. Set that aside. And now what we're going to do is start at an end and give it some gentle rubbing here. We're just rubbing off that rim jet. Some people use some pre-cleaners on there. I found you really don't need it, especially if you're using warm water and you pre-soak and you're doing it this way. I haven't had an issue. So, just doing it with my thumbs and index finger underwater. Make sure your fingernail isn't touching it, because you can scratch the actual emulsion. Going all the way down here. Get it all off. You can see how nasty the water's getting. I don't see, yeah, I still have some there where my thumb was missing, so I'm going to get the other side here. See how I did. Alright, we're good there. Now, we have to re-roll this back on the reel. Some people just do the stabilizer loose, but I like to put this back on the reel. So, just going to pinch it just like we did in the dark. Slide it onto these past the ball bearings. And these Patterson reels will stick if they're wet but not underwater. So do this re-roll underwater very gently. You don't want to scratch the film up. Going back on, you know, very glamorous part here. And see, it's still trying to stick a little bit. So I'm kind of having to wiggle the last little bit on. Almost there, getting the leader on. And there we go. So give that a shake. Make this back still on the bottom. I'm gonna pour out one with the negative, regular negatives, stick those on top. Give this a good shake, get the water out, drain this water. While it's draining, I'm gonna quick little dunk here, get that Blix off. That, shake, put that on the side, put the cap on the Blix. Now for the last ingredient, stabilizer. It does exactly what it says it does. If you just left these out to dry, they'd eventually turn out and look like crap. So you gotta stabilize it. And basically all this is with the stabilizer, you pour it in, agitate for the first 15 seconds, and leave for 30 seconds to a minute. So we're just gonna cover the film. There we go, film's covered. Use the same little twisty to agitate it here. It's a little harder to get it lined up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now we just let it sit for at least another 15. I'm usually a little generous with this. Okay, we'll call that good. Pour this back in. I'm going to use my finger to hold the reels in since there's no lid. Don't do that because it'll fall out and you know, it'll knock everything over and it makes you jump and you get chemicals on your clothes. And, yeah, I've been there. So we have that. Put this back on. Put this over here. Get some hot water going again. I'm going to rinse this off. I like to give this one final rinse. Just because literally stabilizer, the active ingredient's formaldehyde. It's not very strong, but I don't really want it on my hands while I'm messing with the film. I haven't seen any adverse effects. So I'm just going to fill it up twice. And then we'll hang it. Alright, so we got these squeegeed off, dried out. Fujifilm is going to be on your right, the shorter one because it's a 24 exposure. Vision3 was a 36. So we'll post some pictures of final results and we'll do some final thoughts. Hey guys, as you can see, new day, new polo. Sorry I forgot to record this when I was doing the comparison between the Vision3 and the Fujifilm. Talk about results here. Now, it's kind of hard to see from how I did those contact prints because if you haven't figured it out yet, based on the wall texture there and over there in the previous videos and this one, I'm in the process of moving in and restoring a house. I haven't taken out my scanner yet. So, basically the way that I've done those contact prints is I've used an app on my phone called Loop, and it's being projected through a tracing board that's covered with tissue paper. It's not necessarily the greatest way to compare the finer details between two different films. So I figured I'd go on the record and explain what's going on. The advantage of Vision3 over a regular film like Kodak Gold or even like the professional Kodaks or Fujifilms, you know, you name it, is basically the dynamic range of the film. It has a very good dynamic range, which means you still have information in the really darks and the really lights. It's more resistant to bleaching out. It does make it interesting, like, you know, for the digital guys out there, it kind of helps you from having to shoot brackets, if you guys have done that before. But when you look at the pictures, I didn't shoot anything that really highlights the film. That's my bad. But something to be said for this film. I like the Kodak Vision3. I've shot 50D. I've shot 100T, 200T, and 500T. And I just haven't got around to shooting 250D yet. It's a very great film, especially if you want a bulk load color. I mean, you can find a 100-foot roll for like 80 bucks, and you just have to deal with the rim jet. So don't be afraid of it, especially if you want to shoot a lot of color film versus shooting a lot of black and white. You can see the pictures turned out great. I'm Matt. This is Ironically Digital. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. If you like what you're seeing, stay tuned for more videos. Hit that like button, hit the bell on the side. Have a good evening.